I'm at a hotel in San Francisco. We're figuring out the setup in New York. You guys can hear me, right? You dropped in the chat. Hey, yo. So who here is in New York but didn't show up to the New York event? Who is in this event here in New York? Or I'm doing good. Thank you, Brandon. Who is in the Zoom that's in New York or New Jersey, but it's not in the event? Timson Tan, you can still go to the event. There's 3 more hours. There's a lot of people there. Nice, impressive venue, people are saying. India, Oman. Oman is crazy. That is wild. Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate you guys enjoying the live stream. That is good. I am in San Francisco right now. That's correct. When am I coming to New York? I do not know when. When- We should set up a donation link. We made it. You know what we could do? We can make the events like right now for this event, we made it like $5. Like anyone who want to attend the event, we made it $5. But what we could do is like we could maybe make it free or like two and then ask people to donate or something. That is something we could do. Uh, do you think that's a good idea, Timson? So we make it free, but then like we tell them to pay it if they want to. What do you guys think would be? Because like a venue does cost like mad money. And like oh, sell merch is also a good idea. Yeah. Sell merch is a good idea. But our idea is if we sold merch, we don't want to make any profit from it. We just want you guys to have like the head starter merch. So set up this live stream. This live stream will be important, but these venues are expensive. They cost a dime and a buck. So I like the donation idea. The main idea actually why we made this venue $5 like per person who showed up is because of RSVP. We noticed that 40% of people who RSVP only show up, which means 60% don't. So we figured if we had a $5 thing with it, most people who pay $5 wouldn't just like leave and not show up. Um, yeah. Oh, Uncle is here. Hey, nice to meet you, Uncle. Good to see you. All right, we need someone from New York City. Actually, let's see. I mean, there's mad heads here, so let's see. Hey, let's see. New York chat. Hey, New York chat. I'm not in the NYC event. I'm in San Francisco right now, so I'm not in the NYC event. Yeah, if it's free, people will definitely flake. That is correct. So who are you guys excited to hear from today? Who are you guys excited to hear from today? Well, you can hear from me here right now, in my place I'm staying. But Nabil is definitely a top dog. Nabil, he just texted me today morning. He was like, um, he actually started another company that's making $2 million in 6 months. You know how you have a challenge of making $1,000 in like 2 weeks? His challenge was he started another company. It's already making $2 million in 6 months. That is wild. That is incredible. That's incredible. And he started at like, yeah, like 6 months ago. I was like, is that a separate company? He's like, yeah. And he thinks it's gonna go faster than Lunchbox. He'll talk about it. He'll talk about it. Well, though. Yeah. Yes, I am muted. I can give you Let me try to help set up this stream. One sec. Just want to give everybody a heads up. The event actually hasn't begun right yet. We're hearing, yeah, so event hasn't begun right here, so you're not missing out on anything yet. The first speaker is going to be Hilal, and then Nabiha, then Sajad, then Nabil, then Farzi, and lastly Faizan. So that's going to be like the order of the events today. I was a domestic student, so I was born in Lowell, Massachusetts, but my parents were foreign students, so both my parents were getting a CS masters in Boston. Hey, we're setting up the event. Let's see. Seems like I just woke up. I'm just not wearing my glasses, but um, been up.
Wouldn't it be crazy?
See, my doppelganger. We're gonna set it up right now. So, son, call it. I think they haven't started the New York event yet, so That's why the live stream we're just kind of chilling so far. Um, hopefully start the New York event soon.
Right, can you hear me? Oh my god, my hair. Okay. Okay, Yasin?
Yeah, Ehsan. Yeah, that's a nice venue. The
Wait, can you
hell?
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
Okay. Give me a second. I need to figure out where to position this.
okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna have my laptop's volume muted, so I won't be able to hear you.
Okay. Um,
Right, 1 second.
Actually, 1 month before my junior year, I launched this app called Moment with my friends, and it went viral. Like the night we launched, it got 10,000 downloads, and it went down for around 100,000. So, thanks to social media marketing, I really used my TikTok. A viral TikTok, right? Exactly. And making customer service. So that worked very well, and that actually got their attention. They asked me about that. And now I have like a startup called SWEs. It's basically a national search engine that lets you find products from like small, minority-owned niche businesses. Those are my two products that I really worked on.
Sweet, sweet. And I want to get into the startup thing, but before we delve into that, you're obviously a computer science major at an Ivy League school, Columbia University. What's that experience like overall? How's the degree?
The degree, it's amazing, guys. So one thing about Columbia is it's a very humanities-focused school, so I can't really speak for other schools like MIT, Stanford, or any other really good computer science school. One thing that really is emphasized in my school is learning like a language, global core, physical education. So actually finding the time to focus on CS core classes is something you have to plan out, and you have to be really intentional about it. So plan out your schedule, things like that. Is it the top CS school? I don't know, but I make it work,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
that's the message at the end of the day. Make your degree work for you.
And being in Columbia, especially like in New York City, has that given you any like more advantages compared to like maybe in other places?
100%. I was able to get into fashion because I'm in New York. I was able to reach out to certain people on LinkedIn, messaging them on Instagram to get opportunities because we're all in the same vicinity. So your location does play a factor in the opportunities you receive. But also don't let that limit you. Social media is great to reach people.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about your startup a little bit. So, just give us like a synopsis, what you did, how you built it, what's it about?
So I built this website overnight. I started at like midnight and it took me 18 hours to make a full stack application. What I did was create a search engine like I mentioned. I scraped a bunch of websites, created like a very scrappy front end using Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, just to create like an MVP. I didn't think anything of it when I was making it. Like I literally posted a video thinking, okay, maybe like 3,000 people are going to use it. But 3 million people ended up using it after the first week. And since then, it's been shared.
How'd you get that reach?
Social media. Like I'm saying, social media is the easiest way to reach like customers without spending a single dollar. Like I've never spent a single dollar on advertising marketing. I use my own platforms. I don't have investors. This is completely bootstrapped and it's been so successful so far.
Nice. And then what's your plan kind of going forward? Are you trying to grow more in like the software engineering, corporate ladder, career track, or more on the startup side, social media side, fashion side? You have a lot of different ventures here.
Second. I love corporate for the stability, right? And it's really amazing to learn from people at Microsoft, like who are so talented, so knowledgeable and experienced. But one thing about me is I like to build my own stuff, So that's eventually something I want to pursue in the future.
Sure. And I know you being obviously like a woman in STEM, you've had your own fair share of experiences, and obviously like some might be able to relate. Could you share a few stories like?
Yeah, I know. I'm like trying to look for the girlies in the crowd. Like raise your hand. Where are you guys? Okay. Shout out to you guys. No, yeah. So it was definitely something I had to get used to because we all know CS is predominantly male. But don't let that deter you. Don't let that deter you because you're just as capable, you're just as intelligent, and don't let anyone else think you otherwise, okay? When I did start my work at this corporate company, that's the first thing I immediately noticed when I walked into a meeting room with all these CDPs, EPs, all these like people, leaders. I was the only girl there, and I was an intern as well. So then I told myself, maybe you can either turn this into a really good experience, make the most of it, or let this one thing deter you. And I was like, I'm not gonna let that. So I just went about my work like I'm a full-time employee. And at the end of the day, I tell myself, I'm here to recruit people and help hone my skills. And I'm not gonna let anyone change that. And to all the girlies out there, just keep doing your thing, okay? Don't let anyone convince you otherwise.
And you mentioned earlier how you started off not being really good at computer science. And obviously now you're at a top tech company, like one of the most sought after internships out there. How did you transform yourself there?
Honestly, the biggest advice I have is to change the way you approach learning CS. So before, when I did get that C- in my Java class, I tried to memorize Java, guys. And that's one thing you're not supposed to do when you're learning computer science.
Wait, what is that? Memorize Java?
I would memorize, how to like the steps, like, this is how you initiate. Yeah, like, it was not good. So I really had to change my mindset in the way that I approach learning different languages and skills. Instead of like memorizing steps and knowing when to use certain things, you really have to think about it at a larger level, like hone in on your problem solving skills, critical thinking skills. One thing I really like doing is like creating pseudocode before I even implement any code at all. This is really helpful with lean code as well, solving just like problems. And because of that, I was able to learn Java for an internship within 2 weeks, compared to that one semester where I couldn't write a line of code after taking my class. So it really changed my mindset a lot.
Nice. Nice, yeah. I love how you brought up the pseudocode point. I always say, like, whenever I have a coding problem, first solve it in English, then convert that English to pseudocode, then convert that pseudocode to actual code. It'll help clarify your thoughts, help clear everything out, you know. I also wanted to ask, so as a person who's running a startup now, do you learn more at a startup or your corporate job? It's always an interesting question.
I'd say you learn very different things, okay? I know it's so ambiguous, but at my corporate job, I learned people skills. I learned how to talk to certain people, how to frame certain questions. Who do I approach to ask this question? And at my startup, it's so technical. I learned, okay, what tool do I need to like make this database work faster? And it's like very technical skills that you normally wouldn't get, given like at an internship, your project's already determined for you. People already know what tools you're going to be using, and you're basically pursuing that. But when you're building your own product, that's when you have to do so much research. You have to find out what works for you, what doesn't, what tool is better than another, what database is cost efficient.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really do get.
Did you max out your credit version?
I did actually. I did, guys. I don't recommend using an expensive database when you're first launching and you get a lot of users that you didn't expect to get, and then your credit card maxes out. So yeah.
Cool. And in terms of being like a startup founder, managing like big tech, social media, fashion, how do you like manage all your time? Like, what's your day like?
Oh, what does a day in my life would be look like? Unfortunately, I am the person that wakes up at 5 a.m., but not for the reason you think. Okay, I like to have a slow morning. I spend 3 hours getting ready every day just to set myself up for the day. Because if I'm starting on the right foot, I will be so productive. But if I'm waking up at 8 a.m. and I've worked in 1 hour, I will be so unproductive. You cannot get me to write a single line of code. So I really like to take time in the morning, create intentions for the day. Like, okay, this is what I want to do today. And that really helps me a lot. I also maximize my time. So if I'm on the subway commuting somewhere, I will be responding to emails every single time I have available. I like to use that. But I also give myself time to rewind. So at the end of the day, I spend 3 hours rotting, literally scrolling on TikTok, and having the time for myself to just wind down. Because burnout is a real thing, and don't let yourself fall into that trap, like just working constantly without giving yourself a break.
For sure. I feel like tech burnout is a serious thing. A lot of people face it, yeah. Now, for you, what are some short-term and long-term goals?
Oh my gosh, this is a question my parents asked me. Short term, right now, obviously finish my internship. I have 2 weeks left, guys. Wish me luck. So I want to see, what that looks like at the end. And I'm at the point where I'm like evaluating what does corporate mean to me? Is this something that I need in my career path? Long term, I do want to be like a fashion tech founder. I want to be one of the pioneers to really set the industry up. And I have a lot of cool things coming up soon. So yeah.
Well, if you're ever looking for engineers to hire,
I got to, yeah. And you guys are so talented. Building like 5 projects, in like 7 weeks? That's insane.
awesome. Cool. Well, those were the questions I had. And before we get into audience Q&A, could we get a round of applause for Davika, please? Who has questions? Yes.
Well, I know like the regular way to prepare for interviews is go through the code and you study some very good interviews, but is there any like unique ways that you use to study for the Microsoft internship or any other where you apply for big tech?
Yeah.
All right. So the question was, the traditional path for studying for technical interviews is data structures, algorithms, leak code, but for Microsoft specifically, were there any unique things that you studied?
Yeah, so the first thing I did actually, I reached out to people who previously had Microsoft interviews, asked them, what type of questions did you guys receive? And they all directed me to LeetCode Line 75 as the best resource. I ended up completing 20 out of 75 questions when I was studying, but when I was doing those questions, I focused more on like thinking out loud, saying all my steps out loud, kind of like someone was on the opposite end, listening to me working out this problem. And that's one thing that's specific to Microsoft that I know, is they really want to hear your thought process out loud. How are you approaching this problem? What tools do you already know? Like, what's your toolbox looking like? What sort of algorithms can you pick up, data structures to solve this? And that helped me a lot during my interview. It was a 3-hour long interview, and I made sure thought that was in my head, I said out loud. And that's what the interviewer appreciated as well.
Yeah. Also, you'll be surprised, Reddit is a great source of where people talk about their interview experience, and big tech companies sometimes recycle questions, so yeah. Who's up next? Yes.
So as an Ivy League student and having to go through the rigor of that type of coursework, what like study skills or habits did you go in college that you applied in your like internship or you're making your startup or just interviews?
So the question was, being an Ivy League student, what type of, I guess, unique like study skills that you picked up that helped you translate to startup and like big tech?
I'm gonna be so honest, guys, right now. Cramming was a really good skill that helped me during, pursuing this industry career. Because one, I was given a project in a completely different language that I've never worked with, so I had to learn that language in like less than 1 week, 2 weeks. And because in school I'm used to like always having homework assignments, always having a midterm and final, I learned how to learn things super quickly. And that's a skill, like just learning things quickly. It's a really good skill to have.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yes.
What initially sparked your interest in computer science?
What initially sparked your interest in computer science?
Okay guys, I forgot to tell you, I used to be chemical engineering and then I switched to CS last year. I've always wanted to create my own fashion tech startup, right? I was gonna take the route where I like hire engineers, pursue like venture capital firms to like get funding. And then when it was time to actually do that, I'm like, oh my god, it's so hard. So I'm like, why not build this myself? Because you have so much more freedom when you're able to build up your ideas than like have someone else build it for you. And at the end of the day, you know what you want to make, someone else might not. So that's why I decided to learn these skills so I could do it myself.
Yes.
So I know a lot of routes that content creators take when they build their audience is building a product to them and change to them. What sort of social media strategies do you use to get that virality of your startup?
So the question was, how did you, or what content strategies did you have to kind of like market your product, to take it out there?
Okay, by the way, I have seen your videos. I feel like, yeah, all the CS TikTokers come on my For You page, but one strategy that I use a lot is provocative marketing, which is using shock factor when, marketing in a product. What I mean by this is like, you're used to seeing ads all the time, okay? Like every time you see an ad, you can tell it's an ad by the way someone's talking, the tone, the exact verbiage they're using. So what I do is create a hook that's like kind of out of pocket, guys, okay? When I was advertising my app Moment, I said, Mark Zuckerberg sucks. Here's my app that's better than Instagram. And that type of strategy actually got so many users to download my app. And because of that like, shock value that I provided.
Yes.
Thank you so much. What's the long-term goal for your fashion startup? Like, what's the impact you want to create? What's different about your startup?
Right. What's your long-term goal for your fashion startup?
My dream is to make everyone kind of migrate from shopping from fast fashion giants like Zara, H&M to like smaller independent brands, kind of letting go the need for fast fashion. I know it's very hard to let go because one price point and accessibility, so that's why I'm using tech to make both of those things available to users at an instant, okay? Obviously incorporating AI.
Yes.
So you said when you started learning CS, you were kind of going about the wrong way with like memorizing Java and such. So how did you reframe your way of learning and thinking for CS? Because it's a changing industry, you have to learn new technology to keep up. So how did you reframe your thinking, your style of learning?
Yeah.
How did you reframe your thinking from memorizing Java to where you are now?
Before, how I approached it was whenever I got like a homework problem or something like that, I would look at how other people solved it before, memorize the steps, and try to like use those to solve future problems. And that was not good at all. So whenever I do approach the problem now, I first think, what are the different okay, this is my thinking process exactly. What variables am I given? What is my given information? Then I think of, okay, what do I know? What algorithms, data structures do I know that can go about this? Then I think of different methods, like, there's like hard coding examples, taking a more recursive approach, other methods, and then I boil down to the most efficient one based on my time complexity, use that. And that's kind of my like algorithm in my head that I use to like approach problems. The bigger picture is you think about solving the problem before you even implement it. And before I was just thinking about the implementation, the actual writing code.
So start with like the overview design and then get it nitty-gritty. Yeah. Last question. Yes.
How do you scale to like thousands of users without maxing out your credit card? Or do you still continue to max out your credit card?
How do you scale to thousands of users without maxing out your credit card?
I'll give you a specific example of mine. Okay. So before I was using a very expensive database, each query costs like 5 cents. Don't recommend that, guys, okay? So I did something that, I don't know if anyone else has ever done this, but I moved all the items that were into the database onto the server side. So they were queried through the server directly, which costs like little to money. Now, how will this scale? We'll see. We'll see. Maybe my next video, guys. My website's broken. So we'll see.
Well, I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. She provided a lot of value. I got value out of this. And once again, let's give it up for Namika.
Just for Instagram.
Yeah.
Do you mind taking a picture? Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Oh. This is going on LinkedIn, guys. Yeah. Guys, is he giving uncle right now? Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. That's cute. You got it. Thank you, guys, and good luck.
There's like one second. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, it's right here.
A lot of cameras. None of them are, I don't have any good angles. So we do like that mic is for that. This mic is for my.
So you're gonna need to talk. Let's settle down here a little bit. We have our next speaker here. of secrets of how to actually take your startup, build a startup, scale it up to a certain level, how he goes about hiring, what he looks for in engineers. And I know a lot of you here are students just trying to like break into the field, but having like a bigger perspective of what like a long-term goal would be super, super valuable. And I'm excited, first of all, to be here interviewing you. How are you guys excited?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Whoa, come on, guys. I'm nervous.
I need more
What was
enthusiasm.
that? What was that, guys? Come on.
You guys excited? Oh wait, actually, sorry. Sorry.
No, I'm good. That's for you. Oh, that's for you? I have 3 mics. One, two.
All right. So first of all, Nabil, could you introduce yourself at a high level?
Okay, all right. So, first of all, thank you all for having me. And I spoke to some of you. Did I speak to any of you 2 weeks ago or a week ago? On the Zoom? Anyone? All right, so I'll say news stories, all right? I'll not repeat myself, hopefully. But a little bit about myself. I'm an immigrant. I came to the country when I was 15. My dad was a taxi driver when I got here. My mom was a Dunkin' Donut worker. We grew up in the projects. Grew up in Jackson Heights. So very, just a very immigrant story, right? Can we get those guys to stop distracting me? Those guys, can someone go out there and tell them to please?
We'll close the door.
I'm already nervous. All right, so I just grew up really poor. Like it's a story a lot of us have here, and I just hated it, and I wanted to do something. I did not know what I wanted to do. I was told my entire life to be a doctor, like a lot of brown people are told, right? So I was just going to be a doctor. Like there's no choice, just go be a doctor. So at 17, I wanted to buy a pair of Jordans, and I did not have enough money. I got a job as a busboy at a restaurant in Astoria, Queens called Bear Burger. Anyone been to Bear Burger? Anyone? A couple of people? Expensive. Where is going there? There's so much more affordable options. Try Shake Shack. I'm just kidding. So I started working there and I fell in love. And I worked there for a decade. I worked from 17 to 27. And it was a call. I just fell in love. I went knee deep. I went from busboy to CMO at age 27. I dropped out of pre-med and I fell in love. And then 5 years ago, I decided to leave that job. I got more confidence. I became less insecure. The negative critical voice in my head, I told it to shut the fuck up. And then I just kept on working and grinding. And then eventually I started this company called Lunchbox 5 years ago. We're the Shopify for restaurants. So anyone here order food from Naya or Maman or Bear Burger or 16 Handles or just any of these chains, they're all powered by Lunchbox. If you go to their website, order food from them or their app, you will not know it's us, but it is us. We processed almost $1 billion plus. We've raised over $100 million. The valuation is on paper, who cares? But we have, Papa John's as a customers, as some of our biggest customers. And it's been 5 years and it's been an incredible journey. And that's my bio. I don't know if that's short.
No,
yeah.
that was great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, just kind of curious. So, you went about starting it based off of a problem that you solved, right? So, what were some initial challenges? Because I feel like, at least personally for me, a big thing that I don't want to go into startup, or not I don't want to, fear of startup is like so much uncertainty. I'm going to have to do this. I have a stable job now. What was that like thought process for you?
I think you have to, like, I started a company once before Lunchbox, before my current company, and it failed very quickly because all I was trying to do was get rich, right? And I think that should definitely be one of the reasons you should start a company. No one here should start a company not to make money. That would be very stupid. But I think one of the things you want to do is start a company to make money and to solve a problem, right? So that was Lunchbox. It was a problem we were trying to solve. We at Bear Burger wanted to go ahead and not give away. We were giving away $5 million at the time to grow up DoorDash Uber Eats because they take 30%. On a $100 order if you place, they take $30. You know what is the restaurant left with? $5 to $10 because you have to pay for food, pay for lights, pay for staff. So on a $100 order, the restaurant makes $5 to $10. That sounds like a scam, right? That's exactly what we were dealing with, so that's why we started Lunchbox. I think the advice I'll give to anyone who wants to start a company is don't listen to folks like me up here. I got lucky and I worked really hard and there's a lot of accident. I sound incredibly smart as I am telling you about a story. Half of it is revisionist history and I'm making it up. It sounds nice, sounds linear. But in your life, you need to go and look at how can you be very successful in a very lazy way? What is the problem around you? Who around you has money? Who around you has a problem? Who around you is not willing to pay? If you want to keep your day job and start a company at night, do that. Don't listen to investors who say you need to quit your day job. They are investors. They have never created anything. So I think the advice I'll give you is do what feels like play to you. Do what feels easy to you. And it's around you. It's somewhere around you. If it's not around you, you need to go ahead and increase the surface level area, which means you need to get lucky. You need to come to events like this. You need to talk to as many people as you can. You need to try to deal with as many people as you can and ask them what problems do they have. But don't try to be anyone else. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be your favorite hero Elon. Just try to figure out who you are and monetize that, right? So I'll stop there.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good. And obviously, so those were like the initial you getting into it, and obviously like things picked up. But how did you actually scale to get to this like I guess 9-figure valuation or like raising 9 figures?
Way more, but
yeah. Okay.
So I think on our day one, this is what I was doing. I had a day job, where I was a CMO, I was getting a salary, I was going to die in that job because that's more money than anyone in my entire lineage has made. Why am I starting another company? Like why do I keep doing stupid things like that? Like when I dropped out of school, my parents said, we're never talking to you again, right? And then they came around. Same thing happened again. We're leaving a perfectly fine corporate job, C-suite job, and we're starting a company, starting again from scratch. So there's a lot of noise that holds us back. Just forget about it. Do you have a day job? Do your day job, right? And then give yourself a schedule. Hey, before my day job starts or after my day job, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try to get 1 customer. Then I'll try to get 10 customers. And then I'll try to get 100 customers. I think that's how you need to think. How can I do something that where I'll have 1 customer, right? I don't think you have to scale. I don't think I thought this was going to be the company it is today. I didn't think we were going to raise $100 million. When we raised our first dollar, we had 72 investor rejections. Before the 73rd investor said, here's $2 million. 72 investor rejections sounds like in the middle of the process, over 7-8 months, it sounds like I'm an idiot, company sucks, I'm great, investor sucks, I'm an idiot, and it's just a roller coaster. What you need to do is just solve 1 problem at a time, 1 customer at a time. So what did we do? We launched our product and we said, Bear Burger, my job, will you be a customer? They said yes. Will you pay us half as what you're paying these other companies? They said yes. Will you sign a contract? Yes. Okay, we have our first customer. It's a company, guys. We solved most of the problem already. I go to my friend at Stickies, customer number 2. Will you sign up? Yes. Okay, let's sign up. I go to my friend at 16 Handles, Solomon, the founder. He just passed away, by the way. RIP. He said, yes, we'll sign up. So look around you, the problem is around you, you can sell something around you, and if you can't do it, you have a company, you can scale it later. Like, don't worry about scaling it, don't worry about how do I replace myself, don't worry about, like, what the logo should look like, just release it, launch it, see if one person will give you very little money, and then you can come up with a name later.
Perfect. Now, I think what you said, especially about like the 72 investor thing, a lot of people can relate, especially me. Like when you're applying to like these tech companies, right? You're gonna get rejection after rejection after rejection. But at the end of the day, you only need that 1 offer. You only need that 1 yes. And that could come after you apply to 100 companies. It could come after you apply to 200 companies. You just have to kind of keep going at it. And also while you're doing that, working on yourself, like focusing on like maybe one paradigm of programming, 1 type of data structured algorithm problems till you get comfortable there, right? Now, the next question I want to ask you is, there's a lot of hype about AI, a lot of, in the tech sphere, in the business sphere, a lot of people who just want to use it. How do you use AI in your day-to-day business?
I think I first want to talk about a little bit about hype, and then I'll talk about how I use AI. I use very little AI. Very little of my business is dependent on AI. I use ChatGPT a lot. That's it. That's it. I polish a lot of my content there. I do a lot of research there. That's it. And that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fucking okay. You don't have to go ahead and jump on a trend. But if you can take advantage of it, you should. Right? So what do I mean by that? You have a problem to solve? Alright, go ahead and solve it. You're going to have a hard time raising money on it anyways. Right? It's not that 72 investors were not smart when they said no to me. Is that it was a wrong fit for 72 people. I'm going to talk about dating a little bit. I'm a marketing CEO, so unfortunately,
sports and dating analogies, and it's not like you're not, as long as you're supposed to get to the nose, you'll get to the right person or the right yes, but you have to get through the nose. So 72 investors were not wrong, it was just not a right fit. I needed to talk to more. So, all right, I'm not solving my lunchbox problem. If I could have added an element of AI, if I started that today, I would have, because investors are humans. Just like all humans, 20% of this room is amazing, 20% of this room is horrible people, and maybe a good 60% are in the middle. That is just the reality of every room. That's the reality of every investor, every CEO, every therapist, everyone, right? So, okay, we need to go ahead and take advantage of that. Like, you gotta play the game of life. If I can add .ai at the end and the valuation goes from 10x to 20x, I would be stupid not to do that. So try to take advantage of it, but don't make that your headline. Your headline is you're trying to solve a problem, or someone will pay you for it, and I'm adding .ai to it at the end. Or maybe it is a true AI company, and it's not just built on ChatGPT or one of these companies, and you guys are amazing, and then you're getting 50x valuation. Great, and that's above my skill set. But how do I use it? I use it very little, and that's fine. Like, my job is not to jump on every trend. My job is to, find the edge, and all of your job. When you find a win, drive that win home, right? You found a customer, let's say, I don't know, you found a customer on Amazon. You go on Amazon and optimize Amazon 100 times before you say, I'm going to do Shopify and go direct as well, right? So you optimize where you're winning. You don't focus on your weaknesses, and that's true also for humans. You don't have to go ahead and work on your weaknesses. I wish I was better at this. Whatever your strength is, you just drive that fucking home 24/7 every single day, 1,000 days in a row, and you'll see a great ROI.
Cool. Now, a lot of people here, or a decent amount, are focused on one track with a TED Starter, in which they're creating this project and hoping to have 1,000 users by the end of its fellowship. What is your biggest piece of advice for someone who's just trying to break it off to get to that level?
I mean, you gotta take it one step at a time, right? How do we get to 10, then 100? Go slow to go faster. And I will answer last question and this question together, which is, you gotta figure out who you are, and that's a lifelong journey. Like, you guys, every year I'm learning something new about you, right? When I was your age, I thought I knew it all, and then every year I'm realizing, this is why I get triggered by this. This is why I have insecurities here. This is what happened when I was 15, and my mom said this, and blah, 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 right? We're on a lifelong journey of who we are. So if you are an introvert and you need to do marketing, do it in a way that is true to you. Maybe you are great at writing, and that's how you want to do marketing. Maybe you are great at just speaking to the camera. Maybe you're good at editing. Whatever you're trying, or whoever you are, go on the self-discovery journey and be that person. Don't try to build a massive company because you need a co-founder and someone said you should have a co-founder. If you don't want to have a co-founder, don't have a fucking co-founder, right? If you want to have a solo company with thousands of users, do it. I believe Instagram, when they sold, they had 20-ish employees. I would love that over the 200 employees we have, right? Don't send this clip to my employees, but I would love that way more. So you have to find out what you like, how you want to market, what kind of company you want to build, what kind of company you want to work at. You're employee number 1 at this company you're trying to work at. So design it that way and go after 1,000 users. Now, I don't know what you guys are building. I don't know how to go after your 1,000 users. I have no idea, right? Some of you might be in direct to consumer, right? So maybe, you need to be a little bit more, I just don't know. I don't know what your business is. I'm happy to give a direct example for each of your businesses. My business is B2B, enterprise. We do enterprise SaaS, which means, the deals are done over, dinner, $1,000 plate dinners, where it's a small table of 6. It's quality over quantity, it's low churn. Now, if you're going after 1,000 users, it's more SMB, it's lower, CAC, and you are going to see churn. So I'm happy to answer specific questions. But the answer is, within the founder itself. What kind of founder you are willing to lead to 1,000 users? So you got to figure out who you are and what you like and what you will not quit. Right? If you're not going to quit making 100 TikToks over the next 100 days, then do that. If you're going to say, there's no way I'm doing this, this is not who I am, don't do it, right? So lean into who you are.
Perfect. Yeah, and I'm actually very happy to see a lot of people have actually started their pages since they've started posting on social media, and people are getting consistent with that. Let's see. Now, last question before audience Q&A. As a $100 million plus CEO,
we raised 100, so we're close to 10x that as a valuation. It hurts when we say because of how much I've suffered.
Okay.
So that's not correct.
$1 billion.
No, don't say that either, that hurts too.
Okay, sorry.
Less than $1 billion, more than 100 million, somewhere in between.
Okay, so as a rich CEO.
I like that, say that again, I'm kidding.
All right, so as a rich CEO, what is going on next steps for you? Long-term and short-term goals.
So I realized that I want to be CEO forever. Like I thought the greatest thing in the world was to be a CEO, right? I thought it was the greatest thing in the world, and now I fucking hate it, right? So what I want to do next is I want to invest in CEOs and help CEOs. I want to protect CEOs. I want to cultivate them. I want to keep them away from bad investors and bad decisions. I want to keep them away from mistakes I've made, and I just want to support them. Right? So that's my next journey. And I want to do something that is very profitable for me, really profitable for the team that's going to work on it, and really good for the community. Right? I think there's a Venn diagram that does all three of them. I'll give you an example of a company I founded 7 months ago. I was co-founder, someone else founded it, called Rivertel. All right, Rivertel.com. It's basically AT&T and T-Mobile white labeled for immigrants. It's $10 a user a month instead of your T-Mobile plan or AT&T plan. And what we do is we support immigrants. You can call, and we help you in your native tongue. We're focused on Bangladeshis right now. I'm from Bangladesh. I love that. I love what we're doing there. That's growing 4 times faster than Lunchbox. It's already at 1.5 million ARR in 6 months. So I love that, and it's just giving me so much joy. I'm learning more about myself there. So that's the next phase for me, which is helping a lot of companies instead of just being heads down on one.
For sure. Awesome. Love to hear that. And got a lot of value out of this. Before we get to audience Q&A, a round of applause, please. All right, who's got questions? Yes.
Think about 5 years ago when you first went to start Lunchbox, and assuming that you had maybe a little bit of programming experience, how did you first go about creating your first MVP for your company, and also how you went about creating your own team as a youngster?
So the question was, rewind 5 years. The question was, rewind to 5 years. With little programming experience, how did you develop your first MVP, like a minimum viable product? And how did you start about building your team?
I know I'm like an engineer or not, right? So I did not know how to code, and I was very insecure about it, But knowing, looking back what I did was I just leaned into what I was, a marketer, and I was just always, out there talking, And I had my co-founder message me on LinkedIn and saying, "Hey, love Bear Burger. Thank you for working there." I saw that he was an iOS engineer. Messaged him, and he met him in 3 hours. Think about how creepy that is, right? Met him in 3 hours in Forest Hills at a Bear Burger, gave him free burger, said, "Do you want to start a business?" So my way was, I'm a marketer. I can create mockups. I can create great Figma files. I can design great things, great videos. I'm going to get people excited based on that. I'm going to attract co-founders based on that, customers based on that. We didn't have any line of codes built when I was doing this. But I was just leaning to who I was, right? If you are an engineer, are you an engineer? Kind of. So you're not an engineer. Not an engineer. So what are you good at?
I'm good at talking.
You're good at talking. So you need to just be great at that. Don't be good at that. Be great at that. And other engineers will say, "I want to partner with that guy because I don't want to talk to humans. They're annoying and they're the worst. Let him do that because I don't want to do that. I will be in the background, building this great technology." So when you find partnership like that, when you want to do your job, you don't want to do theirs, and vice versa, that's a true partnership. That's a true co-founder. So that's how I built the first team. It was someone I failed the company with. It was someone else on LinkedIn. It was someone else who was working at Bear Burger. And it was just 6 of us. None of us got paid. We rented out a room for 2 people. We all squeezed in there and worked. And one day we got 1 person on salary. And we're like, "Guys, I think we made it. I think we are the next SpaceX." It's one day at a time, right? It's one day at a time. It's 1 week at a time. Don't look too far. I'll say this: make sure the next few weeks are clear, and make sure the next few years are unbelievable. You don't believe it, right? That's how you need to go ahead and behave.
All right, next up. Yeah.
It's kind of building up. Excuse me. It's kind of building up from that question, right? So
we can kind of tell that you're a pretty charismatic person, right? And you implement a lot of humor when you speak eloquently, and also obviously you have a lot of confidence. That makes you persuasive, right? What would you recommend to us to become more like that, to be able to speak to people and persuade them with our ideas or just confidence?
What are you reading? Repeat. He asked, how did you, you're a good talker, you're charismatic, how did you become charismatic and a good talker, and how do you persuade people, give us your advice. That's a question. What are we reading?
Oh, it's 1984, George Orwell.
Yeah, right time to read it or not, right after the election. So, my biggest goal my biggest fear at 17 was public speaking. My biggest fear at 15, when I first came to St. Louis, Missouri, when I first came to America, was speaking in English. Right? I was a brown kid, I was an ugly kid, I was an outsider, I'm not white, I just got here after September 11, and I'm the darkest kid in my school. And it was just, it was hurtful, and I had zero confidence. Zero confidence. And I just really hated it, right? And so, I was trying to be an engineer where it would actually play to my benefit, right? I was going to have to figure out how to talk. And I did it every day. I did it all the time. And it happened accidentally. It just happened accidentally. Just found myself talking quietly with one-on-one. And I'm very brave one-on-one back when I was 17. And then 2 people, and then 3, and then 4. And I realized I won't shut the fuck up. So then I realized it is actually a natural thing that I'm getting people towards. Right? And then at 18 I got funnier, and 19 I picked up this, and then I realized I'm admiring these people who are more on this side and that. Right? So everyone here doesn't need to persuade like I persuade. You need to persuade how you want to persuade. Like someone here is a graphic designer, that's how you go ahead and persuade people. For me it was public speaking, it was small rooms got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just a lot of practice. Like even until 23, 24, I was in smaller rooms. Right? Now I can talk in front of 1 million people. Now I'm less insecure. Even when I came here today, I was nervous. I was nervous first question. Now I'm warmed up, right? Now we got another 4 hours. First question, I was shaking a little bit. The cheer wasn't great. I made some jokes, self-deprecating. But you just, again, you do it every day. You do it for 10,000 hours. Great book on it called Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell. You do it for a long time, and you realize, I didn't realize I was focused on it.
Start small. If you're in university, maybe start out like a club or like a small thing, and then start working with them. I think we had a question here. Yeah.
Thank you. My question is, so one thing I hear is that one should organically grow the business rather than look to investors. So my question is, at what point should one start looking to investors?
So the question was, organically growing your business versus going through investors, and at what point do you stop organic and look more investor route?
If you hate investors, you shouldn't raise money from them. If you don't want to ask someone, you should raise money from them. I keep on going back to figure out who you are, not because I don't have other interesting things to say, but because you really have to figure out what you like, right? Like everything is there, guys. Everything you're looking for outside in this world is within you. I don't want to sound too spiritual, even though that's the journey I'm on right now. You just gotta figure out what you like. Do you want to build a massive business that is getting coverage from TechCrunch and Forbes and others, and you love the limelight, and you want hotshot investors, and you want to say they also invested in X and Y and Z? Then let's talk about getting more funding from investors. It will happen. It's a matter of when, not if. It's a matter of when, not if. But if you're like, I don't want to talk to people, I don't want to answer to them, I want to bootstrap my business, grow it, own 100% of it, I own 20% of my business. Do you want to own 20% of your business, or do you want to own 100%? Right? It's all up to you. If I wanted to own 100% of my business, no investors. I'm going to go slow and steady, and we're going to be behind the limelight. I'll be just as rich or just as successful. You'll make the same amount of money, you just have to figure out what route you want to go. And if you go the right route, the route that calls to you, you'll end up making more money. You'll end up being more successful. You'll end up helping more people. So my question to you is do you want to report to a board 4 times a year, talk to investors, do you, let's ask you, do you want to work with investors and others? Do you have interest there?
No, I prefer to keep it to my own interests.
Then that's exactly what you should do. you'll figure out. You can take angel investors that have no say, they just have money, they don't get any rights, and you can take some money from them, and you'll figure it out, right? But do what you want to do.
I wanted to ask, who or what did you learn the most from during your entrepreneurial journey?
Who and what did you learn?
Who or what?
Okay. The question was, who or what did you learn from the most during your entrepreneurial journey?
I mean, this is so cliche, but you learn the most from making mistakes, right? Going live. So if your product, anyone here whose product is going live in 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, whose product is going live, or their company is going live in 4 weeks, in the next few months. Yeah, when?
Probably by next 4 weeks.
Next.
Maximum by
Can you put something out there that's this weekend? Next week?
So our MVP would probably be released. We're still finishing off recording it.
Yeah.
It's not a team from NetStart, it's my own.
Yeah.
It's a team from university.
Got it.
That I've been working with.
See if you can, there's a version of it that you can put out in 2 weeks. There's a version of it you can put out tonight, maybe it's just a screenshot. Right? There's a version you can put out very quickly. It's uncomfortable. You know what's stopping you from doing it yourself? Oh, it's perfect, it's already good, I don't like it. You don't know if you're not going to like it. I know companies who've taken 2 years to release their product, right? And nothing, bankrupted, gone. I also know companies like Figma who took 5 years to get their first dollar, and Figma is great. So the sooner you put it out there, the sooner you'll know if people actually want it. Your vision for a product, no one gives a shit about your vision for the product. No one cares. No one cares. When you put it out there, you'll learn. And your job is to listen and learn and pivot and iterate. And your job is also to ignore a lot of noises because there's so much noise in this. People are going to say it's not good and blah, blah, blah. You have to also learn when to ignore it, right? Discernment. So you learn when you put it out there. That's when I learned. I'm also just a student for life. I'm a college dropout, so I'm insecure about that. So I'm always learning. I read about founders all the time. I read about every founder out there. I read about dictators. I read about conquerors. I read about Alexander the Great because we are both at the same birthday on July 21st. So I'm just also consuming stuff. And as I'm reading about more and more people, you see 4 or 5 profiles again and again. Profile like me, love to talk and love to go ahead and take over. These profiles were much more talented but behind the scenes. Right? There's 5, 6 profiles that show up again and again. Find out which profile is similar to you and just read about them more and more. But I learned in theory, and I learned just by doing and making mistakes. When I'm making mistakes, I learn 100 things. When I'm winning, I learn 1 thing, 1 or 2 things. So if you're not making mistakes, you're not getting fast enough.
Right. Final question. Saeed. Yeah, you.
Okay.
Yes.
This might be a more business side.
Last question, so it has to be amazing, inspirational, and just tears. I need to cry answering this question. I need to get emotional.
Okay, 2 parts.
Okay.
First part, how do you manage your cash flow in the early stage of your business? And now, since you're such a big company, I'll assume you have extra cash or asset lying up. How do you manage it now compared to before? And how do you manage to survive that first stage?
Yeah.
Essentially, the question was, how do you manage cash flow both at the beginning stages?
Yeah, how do you manage
now?
that at the beginning
And now, as you grow now.
I'm pretty sure it's very different.
Yeah. I think the way we should all manage cash flow is to spend less than you bring in. And if that means you don't make any money for a year, you don't make any money for a year. I didn't take a salary our first year, right? I was in a position to do it. I was lucky. But you just need to make sure you're always spending less, right? I don't care what kind of a company you are. You are self-funded, you are venture-backed, it's called default alive, right? You need to be default alive all the time, which means you need to always make sure cash flows more. If you're like, oh, but I really need to hire this person, you really don't. Let's make sure we make more money. Tell them to join for free. Give them more equity. They'll do it. They'll do it. If you do your job right as the person who's leading this company who has a clear vision, they'll do it. We had 7 people work for free for a year. Only 1 got paid because he had to quit. We had all of us work part-time, 1 worked full-time. So you talk together and you try to make it work and try to make it happen and make sure everyone's rewarded. But at the beginning, it was we're not spending more than we make. We signed Bear, our first customer. They're paying us $200,000 a year. And after that, we said, okay, we can only spend less than $300,000 a year. Right? So that's how we're doing. Now it's different. We raise money and we burn money. Right? As we have only 12 months of money left. 6 months later, we raise more money. Now we have another 18 months to do that. 6 months later, so now we're in a venture format now, which is we raise money before we run out. But I think it should always be profitable and cash positive.
All right, round of applause, please. Thank you so much, and we'll take 2 minutes before the next speaker. Well done. You had a good time?
Had a great time, always. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Not that much.
I think that's my kids. Yeah. It was awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just stay for a little bit. Alright, next one. Maybe go drop for 1 year. I can pay my salary, right?
Yeah, I mean, uploaded.
So somewhere down the line, 6 months. Some of my costs, cut down costs. I love to be on girlfriend, you start paying half, and then like I can cover my costs, and then nice meeting you.
Is there any way I can
LinkedIn message is the best way. I respond.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So, $200 online. I did it 2 weeks ago for a LLC. None of that admin bullshit matters. All that matters is what the customer pay me. What do I need to do for a customer to pay? You can send it to your personal account at the beginning, then you can send it out later. A problem is a problem. A problem is when you start it. Before that, it's all doesn't matter. Your logo doesn't matter, name doesn't matter, nothing matters. Hi, how are you? How did you build it? Who are you building it for?
That's like a social not like really big, but kind of that's
What about the people here? Ask them, like, would you use it? Would you use it? Like, is there a cost or is it free?
obviously for the first few months it's going to be free, and then probably that is only like 3 people that we're going to ask.
The first 10 customers are your friends. You have 10 friends. So are they using it? First customer is your friends. Forget about strangers. First customer is your friends and their friends. If your friends and their friends don't use it, you're building something no one wants. So make your friends use it first, and then you learn what to do. But your friends and their friends and their friends, there are 100 people there. Don't go outside your friends. 6 people will give you feedback. The other 100 will not. Go to your friends. Forget about smartphones. So don't waste $60. Your friends, your Instagram followers, your Facebook followers, your friends. My first customer was my employer. My first customer was my boss. Like, boss, what do you use your product? You should. You want me to go? How's this going on?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, let's move back. back there. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I want to talk to everyone. You go outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was higher.
We'll be back in the future. Yeah. These are friends.
We missed a lot of ones.
Yeah. Hello? Yeah? Yeah. We'll do that after. You're looking forward to that? Yeah. Okay, sure.
Yo, I want to start speaking. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I hope I don't mess up. It's gonna be right here. Yeah. I don't know anything about computer science. I don't know about it.
Oh, it's right there.
You like way up.
It's like mine.
Oh wait, hold on.
In a bit.
Hey, are you recording?
I'm recording this. This is for.
Whose phone is this?
This is mine.
Oh, can I record on mine?
Yeah, sure. If you want.
Or do you want to?
I was moving everyone's phones and I was gonna like make clips. If you want.
I should be doing this for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, that works. Here, just take a little. Turn on airplane mode. Here. And your photos. Because if anyone calls it, it's not that yet. You want to keep this mic?
Oh yeah. I think it's better if I just because we're speaking with the mic.
No. This is the. You need this.
Oh, you think so?
Alright. Let's do a quick mic test.
Oh.
What? Oh, yeah, I have another.
Oh, yeah. Do you have like a? Are these all the cameras? Oh, you have a camera from out, right? Like, right here. Okay, nice. Oh, is this the live stream?
Where's the mic?
I'm trying to think if there's a better. Oh, I What's up? On my chain, it's a Louis Vuitton. It's just a necklace. You said what? Nah. Just the LV. It's just LV, bro.
Hey everyone! Hey, how are you guys liking the event? Great! Yeah. Alright. Cool. So we're about to start it. Anyone who's outside who want to come in, we're about to have a really, really cool speaker talk.
Is that you want to tell him to come inside? He's outside. Never mind.
No, he's telling you to come in.
How's everyone doing though? You guys enjoying the fellowship so far? Yeah. What about the talks?
What about the moderation? Good moderator?
Good moderator. Are you the moderator? Anyone fall asleep? He looks like about to fall asleep right there. I'm on the computer.
Go get you a cup of coffee. Yeah. So, I'm just going to be asking questions. And I'm going to do Q&A. When they ask a question, I'm going to repeat it. And then you're going to answer. Alright, hey, can you close the door? Can someone in the back close the door, please? Hey, could you close the door, please? Let's go ahead and run it. First off,
Yo, Faison, did you tell him that we're starting? Yo, Faison? Did you tell him we're starting? Did you tell him we're starting?
Alright. Hey everyone. Today, or right now, we're going to be talking to Farzan Aleem. If you guys don't know him, he's a content creator with 5 million plus followers across all platforms. He is also an AI startup founder in San Francisco ever since the summer. And so we're going to be kind of diving into a story of how he got to the position he got in, because it's very, very untraditional. Like, my career path and his career path are just like two crazily different things, but yet we've still crossed paths in some way, and I've just learned so much just being in interactions with him that I think you guys will get a lot of like experience or just knowledge from this. So, Farzan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Farzan Aleem, but I feel like a lot of you guys know me as Farzi. I started social media back in 2020, but I didn't see actual progress until like 2022. So a lot of people think that like I blew up right away, but it actually took a couple years for me to actually, see something happen. But yeah, I've been making content for some time, and then over the past 5 weeks, I've been in San Francisco just working on an AI startup. So it's pretty interesting because, you know, I've been making content my whole life. I wasn't even in tech to begin with in school. But then I just decided to, you know, why not start a business and get into tech. And SF was an opportunity. Like, you know, took advantage of it, and here I am. So, what's up, guys?
Awesome, awesome. And part of your journey included you dropping out of college.
Yeah.
How was your college experience, and why did you make that decision?
Yeah, so don't get me wrong, college was amazing. You know, I got a lot of opportunities to meet really cool guys and make, you know, shake a lot of their hands. But I think that one thing that college, you know, posed as a threat for me was honestly just like the financial side. School for me was really expensive. You know, I went to Cal University. It was like $60,000 plus, you know, with the room and board. And it was something that, you know, was really difficult for me to actually go by because my dad was the only person living. And, you know, we still did it because obviously, you know, people always say you need school, so that's what, you know, that's what we were, you know, doing at the time. And then when I was able to start making content and things were starting to, you know, turn out pretty well, I was like, you know, why not try to take this a step further and put some more time into it. It started off as a break for a quarter. So our school runs like in 3 quarters. It's not by semesters, by quarters. And so, you know, we start off as just taking a break, 1 quarter, then turn into 2, then 3, and then turn into me dropping out. But you know, I would still say school was a really big part of my life because if it wasn't for school, I don't think I'd be here right now. I wouldn't be able to actually have been made the connections to actually, you know, make my content. I wouldn't have been able to, you know, meet the people that allowed me to, you know, make the videos that I did at school and be here. So I'm always grateful for, you know, being going.
Cool, cool. And a big question out there right now is like, is college worth it? And a lot of people are like, no, it's so expensive. You found it very expensive. And I often give like the other perspective of how college helped me build my network and how it helped me kind of get my career opportunities, academic opportunities, research opportunities. And you've sort of tried to form your network outside of college. How's that been? What was that like?
Yeah, 100%. I would advise everybody to go to school. You know, I'm not knocking school. I think school provides all the opportunities you get to become successful in whatever perspective you think success is. I will say the benefit of having your own personal brand, going out there and actually experiencing programs or doing social media outside of school is that you get a plethora of connections that are not just based in your career, not just based in your social clubs that are in your school. So that's the thing that, you know, that provided me being on social media was right away, once I was able to get a following, it allowed me to shake hands with people that have been in the industry of business and content. Oh man. I don't know, like, I was able to shake hands with Mr. Beast, you know, like, got to talk to him. I actually was supposed to be in a Mr. Beast reality show that he's hosting for Amazon Prime, and I actually turned that down to come to SF to work on the startup. So, yeah, I would say, like, take your, like, you know, bet on yourself, you know, you don't need, you know, other people to start becoming, like, driving towards a success. Obviously, we need a team to work together to actually build an empire, but I would say, you know, at the end of the day, always bet on yourself and never think that you need to depend on anything else.
You know, the question, is college worth it, is actually a bad question. Can you make college worth it for you? It's very unique to every single person. Someone can spend $100,000 on a degree and get nothing out of it. Someone can spend $15,000 on a degree and get the most out of it. 100%. So it's all about you.
100%. I would say the reason why school was so beneficial for me was not because of the classes that I took. It honestly was the people that I connected. Like, and it's so you know, it's not normal. I'm not talking about, you know, how smart the people were that I connected. It was actually just the fact that my first ever cameraman that held my phone was the person that I domed with. Right? It's like you never know what could happen. I don't know if I would be here right now if it wasn't for being my friend who was able to record my videos in the beginning and be able to allow me to make the videos I made to get to where I'm at. And so it's more so like, I would say, putting yourself out there, meeting with as many people as possible, and then just sticking to any opportunity you get. just taking advantage of it, right? I made a promise to myself in 2022 that no matter what opportunity comes in my life, that I will always take advantage of it because you never know what can come out. And it could be the smallest things ever. It could literally just be high-fiving somebody randomly that could turn into a $1 million business idea. Coming to SF, the only reason why I was there was because I was able to shake hands with Omar Al-Sim, which is the founder of Elevate, which is the incubation program that our startup is under. And the only reason why I know him was because I randomly met him at a coffee shop, and he said what's up to me, and I was like, yo, what's up? And then we just started chopping it up. If I didn't have that conversation with him, I don't know if I would be here. So, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah. Awesome. So, kind of transitioning into your time in SF, building AI startups, can you kind of give a high level of what you're doing, what's up there?
100%. Just to be clear, I'm learning as it goes, right? So like, prior to, working on this AI, I had zero experience on actually, prompt engineering or even just anything software engineering in general. My biggest benefit in this is just understanding, marketing, business, and also just social media in general, right? But there's two parts to a business, right? You need the brand and you need the business. I have the brand, now it's time to build a business. Now in the tech world, the AI scene is becoming so big, and so I thought, why not just try it out? Now, you don't need to be an expert to actually be able to do things. You just need to have the mindset of going and doing it. That's the most important thing. So with this AI startup today, we built this AI that essentially creates viral scripts for creators. So any of you guys who are creating a product or creating a service that you guys want to make content to actually drive traffic to your business, you guys obviously need to know how to make the content, and we're providing the scripts through the AI that has learned from thousands of videos that have already done really well on the internet. And this is all happening just off of me like understanding, just learning as it goes how to prompt engineer and what sources what other models I can use to actually be able to create a prompt for this to actually happen. So far it's been really good. We obviously have the website out, and you guys are actually the first people to be able to use it. So we're working with Head Start to actually provide you guys the opportunity to use Model Training for free. And if you guys are on the Discord, you guys will be able to see it too. I'll make an announcement later on. Be able to use it because I know you guys are building a product and also learning how to market it.
Question, who here is in track A of Head Start?
Oh wow. This is right, so I'm assuming you guys, so track A, if I'm not, it's you guys are, the goal is to get 1,000 users, $1,000, right? So the main thing is like learning how to actually market, distribute your product. So we're providing you an opportunity to do just that, right? So you guys are probably going to end up making videos. You're probably going to end up either writing on forums or talking to people or trying to, distribute your product to, on Discord servers, whatever it is. If you guys are making videos, I'll be used just for it. I'm not trying to, this isn't to be pitching. I'm not trying to pitch it or anything, but at the end of the day, I'm making this so people can actually benefit off of making good videos. And so far making this, it's been very difficult. I've learned a lot of lessons doing it. But the one thing for sure is you should never be opposed to making mistakes and trying things out. No matter what skill level you are, you can always be successful. I've met so many people in SF that, just like, I'm from Princeton, this is Harvard, MIT. I'm like, dude, I dropped out. Like, I'm from Chicago. If you go meet someone in Chicago, I'm from Chicago, meet someone, they say they work at Google, everyone's head turns around like, oh my God, he works at Google. But every other person in SF is a ex-Google, ex-Microsoft, ex-Amazon. So it's like, in the beginning it was very overwhelming, but then when I realized that at the end of the day, the only difference from someone who's successful and someone who isn't the talent that you have, it's simply the mindset that you have of driving past any mistakes or any challenge that comes in your life, and then just always believe in yourself. As cliche as it sounds, but that's honestly
That's inspirational. That's great to hear. Now that I know that a lot of people here are on track A, and I know I've seen a lot of people start posting videos on social media ever since this program started. Anyone here start posting videos? Yeah?
There you go. Okay. I see you're recording too, that's what's up, man.
Awesome. So what's your biggest advice for people trying to establish their brand and trying to get their first 1,000 followers?
100%. It's going to be hard, and the reason why I'm saying it's hard is because it's going to come with a lot of trial and error, right? Some people get lucky. If you compare yourself to other people who blow up right away, you're going to fail, right? The the biggest problem that I faced making content, the reason why I took 3 years in the beginning to actually get something going and have my first 100,000 followers was because I was constantly looking at what I was doing wrong, why my videos weren't doing good, and comparing to other people, right? The algorithm that's based on TikTok, Instagram, or social media in general is not designed for, you know, if a video just is the best video ever, that it's just gonna do well right away, right? It's not guaranteed. Sometimes you have to just keep pushing and being consistent, making content. The most important thing is though is never compare yourself. I'll say that's my number one advice for you guys. Number two, the second advice I'll give you guys too is like, try everything, right? Try every niche, right? Try every different product, right? Maybe it's not the product that's bad. Maybe it's the content. Maybe the content's good, but the product is bad, right? Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, just keep making mistakes and I would say, actually want to go and make mistakes, because that's the building blocks to success, right? It took 3 years for me to actually get to 100,000 followers. In the beginning, in my first year, I grew up to 20,000 followers, and that account got banned. Then I made another account, did like a gaming channel, and I got up to 45,000 followers for the next 2 years. 2 years I got to 45,000 followers, posting every single day, and that account got banned. And then I took a 6-month hiatus, and I was like, you know what, I gotta recalibrate, figure out what I want to post. And then I decided to create By Farsi in December of 2021, and then since then, I haven't looked back. So I wouldn't be here I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all the mistakes and all the experiments that I did to actually get to my first 1,000 followers. So those are probably the two, biggest keys of advice is that, never compare yourself, always, continue looking for making mistakes and learning from them. And your first objective should be to actually, instead of making a video to blow up, focus on just making 100 videos. Make 100 videos, and I promise you, your 100th video will be 1,000 times better than your first video. And it's only through iteration. The only way to be successful is through iteration, making mistakes, and you can't just YouTube it. I promise you, you just have to do it. For sure.
My own experience, last year this time, I had probably just around 1,000 followers on Instagram. And I was making hundreds of posts, and it took nearly 200 posts for me to hit my first viral video to get to 10,000 followers. That was 200 posts I made within the span of 3 months. So it takes a lot of iteration, and you need to, your content will suck at first. No one's gonna tell you at first, but it will suck. People are gonna be nice to you, it will suck, but you gotta look through that, look at the analytics, and try to improve yourself. Now, I guess, for some people who haven't started their personal brand, why is it important to have a personal brand?
So I look at the same reason why I'm building a business right now, with the same importance of why I think you guys should all focus on personal brand, right? At the end of the day, a business stands on 2 legs, and I think it's branding and the business. When you think about the biggest tech companies, or just biggest companies in general, you think about the people who lead that company. You think about Facebook, you think about Mark Zuckerberg. We think about Amazon, you think about Jeff Bezos. We think about OpenAI, who we think about? There you go. See how everyone said the same name, right? We think about Sam Altman. When you think about OpenAI, you think about Sam Altman. All these big companies, you cannot even say that, I don't think anyone can even say that these companies wouldn't be where they are right now if it wasn't for the people who led that business and actually built it in public, right? For me, it's actually the opposite. I never built a business. When I was making content, it was always just making content. So for me, I had the brand ready to go, right? I built a community and built a following that have respect for the content that I made. But now it's time to build a business where they can still garner the same, the business can still garner the same respect by the people. And so, you can't have a business flourishing, especially with how powerful social media is and how much it's implemented into our society right now. You can't actually think about making a business successful if you don't have some sort of face or branding on the internet that people can actually follow, right? People don't follow businesses, they follow faces, right? And so if you have a face to your business, if you have a brand to your business, that's the most important. That is as important as actually building a viable product. So for me right now, it's in my personal experience, I built a brand, and so now it's, just like all you guys, I'm kind of doing the exact same thing. I'm learning how to build, I'm learning how to build a product and actually market it out at the same time you guys are. So once I'm able to do that, now I'm able to put 2 together, the brand and the business, and the sky's the limit after that. So.
Yeah, for sure. And even if you don't have a business in mind, just like Farzi said, he's been making content for years, just put yourself out there. It will benefit you in some way, shape, or form. Whether that's a following, whether that's making money, it'll just help you in some way.
100%.
Now, before we get into Q&A, a round of applause for Farzi.
I like to be, somewhat inspiring to, move people. That's kind of the way I am. I've always been like that since I was a kid. I just want to let you guys all know right now, right? I know I'm sitting here, this is odd, and we're all here with Head Start, but I just want to point out that I know no different than any of you guys. Every single one of us are just, at the end of the day, regular guys. But the difference between someone who's successful and someone who's not is your mindset. It's your ability to keep driving forward and push past any adversity. And I'm telling you right now, I don't have anything more special or more, I don't have any more talent than any of you guys are. If anything, you guys are more talented, you guys are more skillful than I am, and I could ever dream of, ever accomplish. When I look at every single one of you guys, I see success by a long shot. Like every single one of you guys. I couldn't even put myself in a position to even think, oh, I'm sitting here, I'll be in your position. Because what you guys are doing right now, being a Head Starter, finding those opportunities, going out of your way to actually get the internships, get the jobs, trying to move your life, that's the most important thing. So I want you guys just to remember, at the end of the day, never compare yourself when you look at people like me as an influencer, when you look at people who have seasoned founders who have built $100 million businesses. Just remember, the only difference between that person with those kind of accolades and you is time and your mindset, and that's it. Once you're able to just break the gap, be able to have the same mindset and just go through the time, then you'll be able to do anything you want. And I just want to let you guys know that we're all going to success. So at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. So.
Can we get a round of applause as well? Awesome. Q&A. Who's up? Yes.
First of all, I love your reels.
Appreciate
I
it.
always send them to my cousins, and whenever we meet up, like 24/7.
I love that.
So the question, now that you've grown like a platform, how does like your fame affect your normal life, or is it something you don't really notice because of it grew gradually?
So the question was, now that you've grown to a platform, obviously with millions of followers, how has the fame affected your personal life?
I think one thing that has definitely affected me is understanding who's actually real and who's not. You're gonna get that through success, right? Like, people are going to look down upon you when you're starting to build, and then when you actually make it out, right? When you start actually having success, all of a sudden, oh my God, congratulations, I was there at the very beginning, bro. Remember I was in high school, bro? And I was right there, like, telling me you're making it now, bro. You were blowing me, bro. You were telling me that, my content was terrible, bro. You were telling me that, I was gonna, it's hard to find people who are actually, real and like you for who you are, rather than, just what you've accomplished. That's definitely something that I've, had to deal with as a challenge, but I think personally, I've been really good at being able to, like, be who's actually authentic with, enjoying, like me for who I am, not just like what I present. But yeah, I mean, that just happens with anything. When you guys end up making, multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar businesses, which you all will do in the future, you're gonna find that people are gonna want to leech on you because of what you have to offer, rather than who you are as a person. It is our duty as successful people to understand, like, who actually deserves to be on board with us. Because you can't, as much as it sucks to say, you can't bring everyone together, right? You can't bring everyone up with you, right? Some people really just don't deserve it because they need to find out for themselves, and also, like, a lot of people just were hating, and now they're trying to act like they're, they like you or something, or they only like what you have.
Next up? Yes.
So having your accounts banned is something that's absolutely horrible. So how do you strategize for something like that in the future now?
Okay. Having your accounts is horrible, or having your having your accounts banned is a horrible thing to happen. How do you kind of square that going forward in the future?
Oh man, you really just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you just gotta just keep going. I got my account banned twice, and 2 times both accounts were paid after having it for over a year. And honestly, like, I'll be honest with you, when my second account got banned, I was like, forget this, I'm not gonna go on content, I'm just gonna stick to school and just, not even focus on anything other than just my classes and also just hang out with my friends, and just do whatever a regular college student does. I did that for like 6 months, but like now it's like, I genuinely believe that like, God pulled me back and was like, yo, lock in, bro, just gotta lock back in. There's really no strategy to it other than just telling yourself to never give up, bro. Like that's as cliche as it sounds, bro. I know it's like such a strategy, bro, but genuinely it's like, I'm looking at you, bro. I think I see how you are. I can tell just by the way that you're honestly sitting to. It's like you're a type of person who's not gonna give up. You have to really believe that. If I told you that in your future 10 accounts after being held over this 10 years are all gonna be banned, are you gonna quit? Okay, then there you go.
Yeah, nice. All right. Yes.
Hi, if I make my first speech today, will you like it? My dream is to increase education access to people around the world and use technology and AI to do it. And I'm scared of making a account that's self-conscious, but if I make my first speech today, will you like it? Will you support me? Just one like, first read, like one like. That's it.
The question is, will you like my first reel?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Bro, it's
Everyone just.
yo, if you add me on LinkedIn, I'll add you back. You send it to me, I'll like it. I add everybody back on LinkedIn, so. But I think what you're trying to ask, what I wanted to take with your question is the part where you're self-conscious about actually starting. Now that's with everything, right? Like starting a business. My decision to come to SF, I had to make the decision on either being a part of a multi-million dollar reality show with Mr. Beast, or just betting all odds on myself and moving out to SF in a square bedroom that's like a 1x1 that I'm paying like $1,500 for every month, and just building something that I don't even know anything about, right? It was a decision that a lot of people will probably just choose the reality show, right? At the end of the day, if you let other people's judgment get in the way of how you move, then you'll just stay frozen for the rest of the time, right? Because I promise you, there are millions of people that will tell you to your face, stop doing what you're doing, and just quit, because they don't see your vision. No one sees my vision, not a single person. The only person that sees my vision is me. That's it, me and God. That's about it. And when you just close that window down to just yourself, and you just put your head down and lock in, and just push out your content when you can worry about what other people have to say, and just only worry about the things that can actually help you iterate your company, iterate your business, iterate your videos, bro, you'll be able to do anything in the world, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You talked about iteration, like learning through iteration. So my question is, if you were to do it again, what would you do to accelerate the learning process?
So you gave advice about learning through iteration, making lots of videos.
Yeah.
Now, with the knowledge that you have now, if you were to go back, what would you do differently to accelerate that?
Just more input, way more input. The more the person who puts the most work in, obviously gets the most output, And for me, it was a lot of the time, as you're building, you let mistakes kind of get the best of you mentally, and you take more time to actually get back up. Right when you fall down, sometimes it takes some time to actually get back up. The biggest advice I would give myself and anyone else is like, anytime you fall down, get back up as fast as you can and just keep going. It's a race at the end of the day, right? When you're building a business, there's at least 1,000 people who are doing the exact same thing you're doing. When I worked on viral video, the first week, before I even was able to launch the website, two different businesses came out doing the exact same thing on Twitter. And I was like, when the hell? Like, I haven't even heard about a product like this where an AI is building viral scripts for other people. All of a sudden, two companies are coming out at the same time I'm doing it. This makes no sense. But it happens to every single person, right? So just remember, the moment you get an idea, the moment you have a video idea or something, get on it ASAP. Make the mistakes, it's okay. Make the mistakes and go to it, because I promise you, if you don't, someone else is gonna get it done, so.
Final question. Yes.
So you said you weren't really too much of a CS or tech guy. What was your biggest obstacle of breaking into tech, especially in SF?
So, not being from a tech background, CS, software engineering, what's been the biggest obstacle for you going into this field in the the tech AI startup?
So it was along the lines of tech and also business, right? When I got to SF, my first day it was on programming day for the incubation program we're in, and I was surrounded by a dozen people that have been building a business for a couple of years. They've either gotten $30 million in funds. They've already IP, not IP, sorry, they've already sold a company. These guys are seasoned, right? And I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, TikTok. What do I do?
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome was a real thing, bro. That was the biggest challenge that I had to deal with going into it. I had zero knowledge in tech, zero knowledge in business. The first day I got to ILIF, which was the incubation program, I had to go on my phone and search up what a VC was. I had to go and search up like what MRR meant, or what an API was. I didn't even know what an API was at the time, right? And so, the thing was that in the beginning it was very overwhelming, but then when I realized, and this is the most important thing, I'm talking to these people who I have a lot of respect for. They built all these things, but you actually get to know them, you realize that there's really no difference between the two. I'm like, yo, how did you build this, right? Like, I have one of the guys who works with Aleph, he was, your Mambo, right? The charging port. He helped create part of that. Part of the info where you actually how to actually charge Mambo essentially, right? I'm like, dude, I'm thinking my content TikTok brain, my brain, I'm like, how do you even have the knowledge to be able to know what it means? He's like, bro, can I go to you? I'm like, what? Why did YouTube do? I just Googled some stuff and I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm like, bro, how? You've worked with VCs, you've worked with VC firms, you've worked at Apple, Nike corporate, you're so cool, you have all these amazing things, you went to amazing school, what are you talking about? He's like, bro, I just got it done. That's it. I just Googled it, I figured it out, and that's what happened. So the biggest thing is when I realized that every single person is just a regular guy, I was like, all right, if Sam Altman can build OpenAI and do something like that, what's the difference? Time. Everyone has time, right? Everyone's growing, everyone's aging, right? What else? The mindset, right? Iteration, making mistakes, messing up. Okay. So the key to success, the key to just mess up, okay, yeah, I had imposter syndrome, so now what? I gotta just learn, right? So all I did was I put my head down, I was like, okay, let me learn. In the past 5 weeks, I've been able to do that. And I'm continuing to learn. So that's kind of the way I was able to break into the system, was just simply being open to just accepting that I don't know anything, but also knowing that everyone's the same way, and the best way to learn, or the best way to succeed is just learn.
Yeah, that's really good. You bring up a lot of points about mindset, and part of it is the people you surround yourself with. He's in a startup incubator program in SF, the best city to start something up, in a great place where everyone's so business-minded, business-focused. Now, if you're surrounded with people whose only mindset is, all right, what are we doing Friday night? What are we doing over the weekend? Who are just living for those parties over the weekends, that's all you're going to get out of. You need people who are ahead of you, whether that's time-wise, information-wise, money-wise, and learn from them. That's how you actually succeed. All right, can we get a round of applause?
This is actually the first time I've had a fireside chat, so this is my first, you guys are witnessing the first public speaking opportunity I've been given, so I appreciate you guys for coming on.
How do you do? You guys
And I'm gonna sit around, so if you guys have any questions too, you guys, I know a couple people were asking, so if you guys have any questions, I'll go ahead and the gym routine? Push pull legs, bro. Push pull legs, bro. That's it. Push pull legs. That's the way it is. Protein, bro. Eat your protein.
Alright. Now can we get Faizan up here? Who's needs the mic? Okay.
Wait, let's take a group picture first.
Oh, yeah.
A group picture.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna do that at the end.
Oh, just us three? Oh, okay.
You guys want to? So, hold on. Let's do I'm gonna sit down too. You want to sit down?
Oh, wait. So, okay, what we're going to do now is actually kind of like a split session. For those of you who want to like a resume review, we have two previous fellows from Kickstarter that got there who will be the men here. One of them, his name is Raja. He's currently a software engineer intern at Citadel, and he also did Kickstarter 2 years ago, actually, right after he finished high school. And we also have Hassan. So Hassan did Kickstarter last year, and he's currently interning as a software engineer at a pharma tech startup. So if you guys want a resume review, you can head over there to Hassan and Raja. Just want to get a count of how many people are like interested in that. Okay, not too many. So what we do is just head out to Raja and we also have our intern Bill. So Bill is a 29-time hackathon winner, and he's also available to review this as well. So if you're interested in that, you can just head outside towards City area, and you can just show them your resume, and they're happy to provide feedback. But otherwise, me and Sujat are going to do the final talk of the day, and we will wrap it up after that.
this another talk?
Yeah, I'm talking.
Oh, so why did everyone leave?
I know, right? It's so rude. No, I think they're talking. They're trying to talk with Farsi. We got a celebrity. What's happening? You might have to like find your. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like burst through the crowd. Is it like on the right side? On the right side. Okay. Oh, is it? It's on that board. Alright, are you guys ready? You're gonna start Alright, whoever can close the door and keep it closed, please. Alright. Alright guys, let's all take a seat, please. Let's all take a seat. Me and the final talk. It's about to be great. Alright. Hey, everyone who's standing up, if you could take a seat, please, or exit if you're trying to talk before us. Alright, cool. You want to get started?
Yeah, of course. So, Sajad, to introduce you, you're a software engineer level 3 at Splunk, right? And you also graduated in 3 years with both your bachelor's and your master's, right? Super impressive. So, it's one thing to first land in the job, right? And it's another thing to get promoted that many times in that fast of a time span, right? Can you talk about what you did to get promoted that fast and that many times?
Yeah, sure. So, truly when it comes to promotion in Big Tech, it's not really about the code that you write. It's expected that a base level software engineer, a better software engineer, writes good code. Obviously, the higher level you are, the more efficient you are at writing that code. But it's all about the soft skills. Like, for example, I took on mentorship roles. I helped out the interns over the summer. I actually also took on the Scrum Master role. Do you guys know what Scrum Master is? You guys know? Basically, I'm the person who leads the stand-up. And this helped me show my leadership skills, and also, it got me involved in a lot of different projects that was on my team. So just to diversify my involvement, and also create a brag sheet for you. You guys know what a brag sheet is? Basically, every single week, or even every single day, write down what accomplishments you have. This way, you'll track it and you'll know exactly what you do. And anytime you come up for a promotion, or you need to talk to your manager, or your director, or someone of interest that could, affect your salary, you're able to kind of bring those points and be like, hey, I actually worked on this high impact project. Hey, I had 20 plus customers. They helped them out by X dollar amount. Always remember the impact of everything you're doing, and hence that's why you have the brag sheet. So.
Yeah, and so I'm assuming like the next level after super really senior software engineer, right? What do you think you have to do to reach that level?
So a big difference between like a junior level and a senior level software engineer is ownership. Now, as you're working on your team, you're going to be developing features. Like if you're trying to build, for example, a website, you might be in charge of like building this tab, putting buttons on the screen, API calls, the network requests, everything that you need for that, right? Now, a junior level software engineer will just focus on the coding, the design of it, creating all those functionalities. A senior software engineer will be like, all right, this feature is my feature. I'm in charge of it. Anytime a customer has a request for this, anytime something breaks from this, I'm in charge of it and I'll take ownership, I'll help fix it out. Whether it's front end or back end, I'm knowledgeable of it and I take full ownership. Anytime someone's working on the project, I'll go cut a ticket for them, I'll help them out with this. So it's really taking that like level of ownership of projects. Like junior level might take ownership of some features, but senior take ownership of big features.
And so, you said one of the most important things to get promoted as a software engineer is the soft skills, right? So how do you think the folks here can help improve those soft skills?
Yeah, I guess Nabil talked about it a little bit, but seriously, just like putting yourself out there. I feel like ever since COVID, people have just gotten introverted to a certain degree. No one wants to talk to anyone. In fact, like part of the reason that I'm so like happy to see you all here is because y'all want to meet other people. So just putting yourself out there and setting up coffee chats, making yourself available. Have the mindset, okay, I'm not doing this to get promoted, I'm doing this to help someone else out. like in my true, like I mentored 2 interns last summer. Obviously I wanted to get promoted, but my mentality going in day out was, let me give this person the best experience I can give. Let me help them out. They're a college student, they probably don't know like truly what their career is going to be about. Let me help them out the most. And truly the people who give the most, get the most at the end, but you just don't know when that's coming. Like that promotion could be 2 years down the line, but still all the efforts that you put in, you'll reap the fruits of your labor later on.
Absolutely. And so, can you talk about a bit, like, you as a content creator, you obviously have to know how to make like a good hook, you have to know how to, frame the video so that it can actually follow around. Do you think that kind of has an influence on how you present yourself as a software engineer, as one, or just in general?
For sure. I think I've gotten to the point where, so when you're making short form videos, right? People's attention spans are terrible. They're like worse than squirrels. Like they just want to keep scrolling. So you need to be able to capture people's attention super well. And I think a negative effect of that is, as a content creator who's focused on making like the best videos I can make, anytime I go to a demo or a speech and I see people like, let me think about this for a second. Like any of those things where they're dragging on the speech, I just like cringe at it a little bit. And like, I think I've had that effect, but I've also become a better public speaker in general. I think I sometimes stutter a little less. I sometimes go a little less. It's helped out like in presenting myself a little more.
Absolutely. And so, given like, how is so actually one of the pretty much mostly everyone here is on track A, right? And so I'm very curious to know, what would you do if you're building a product and you want to get your first 1,000 users? And actually, before doing that, I think something that Forte told us is that before aiming for the first 1,000, aim for the first 10, aim for the first 200, and then work yourself, work towards that goal of 1,000. And so, what would you do yourself?
So I'd actually reframe it. I don't think 1,000 users is a goal. I think it's a milestone. I think it's somewhere you want to hit, but sometimes you have the idea of like, this is a goal, I'm gonna reach here and you can chill. But like truly, you guys don't want 1,000 users, you want 100,000, you want 1,000,000, right? So I guess the metrics for success would be, did I post a video today? Did I create something in that way? Because you can't truly control how many people will actually follow you. You can only control your inputs. You can only control, did I work on this script? Did I change this stuff? Did I create that video? That's all you can do. So if I was, for example, creating a certain product, whatever that niche was, I would just start posting content to give people free value. Because if you go day in, day out providing free value, and people trust you, people follow you for it, people deem you as an authority for it, eventually you'll get to the point where we'll be like, all right, this guy's free value is so good that I would probably pay for it. Imagine if he had a paid product, I'm paying my money for it. Do you guys get that mentality? Like that's the instilling. Just keep giving all the free value. Eventually you'll be able to take.
Absolutely. And so, for the folks here, when they actually start posting content to promote their products, do you have any insight on how they should, kind of film the video? And also, can you get to the point of like, when you're making content for like Instagram, TikTok, it has to fall under basically 2 main categories, which is like, is it funny or is it informative and helpful? So can you share any insights on how to actually make a good video to promote a product?
Sure. So it's actually, you mentioned education or entertainment. I actually try to do edutainment. A mix between the two. So some of my most viral videos on social media, mix of me entertaining the audience and educating them. In fact, like my first viral video was reacting to a girl crying about how hard computer science was. Some of my viral videos was me using like Oreos to display like different data structures and algorithms, or using drinks to show that. It's like a little bit of an entertaining and like curious element of like, oh, what does he do with the Oreos? Oh, what does those drinks represent? / okay, now here's the value, right? So like people will watch, they'll watch for the entertainment, but they'll follow you for the education. You guys get that? So you need both, especially in this space. And so when you're starting out, your first couple videos is gonna be really rough. You're just gonna put yourself out there. Don't worry about the whole education edutainment. Just provide whatever value you can find, because you're just trying to find your voice at first. Eventually, you want to maybe try using a visual hook. Maybe instead of saying, I use this IDE to code, you show that IDE. Or maybe if you want to display your business metrics, instead of just saying them, you show a graph. Like visual elements really help hook on, and people are sometimes interested to see how things like move around, you know?
So do you want to ask me a question?
Does the audience have any questions for me? Yeah? Yes.
I know the point of today was to preach about how the work is to content creation. If you are not passionate about content creation or social media, do you think that's still worth pursuing for like personal benefit, or do you think that?
So the question was, if you are passionate towards social media, should you still do it? Is it still worth doing? And the thing is, I wouldn't say you're either passionate or not passionate towards social media. It's usually the subject matter, right? Because you, at the end of the day, consume some social media in some regard. And so producing it, it's like more about the topics which you like to pursue or not. And so then that would hence give me the question, the business you're trying to build, are you really passionate towards? Because if you're passionate towards that and you want it to explode, the easiest way to do that is to pick up a product and show people. You get automatic distribution. Literally, Nabiha made a video that got millions of views, instant, like 10,000 downloads that night, 100,000 downloads up till now, all because of like a couple of viral videos. That's insane. You know how much it would cost to get paid ads to reach millions of people? Too much money, you know? Like, it's literally free distribution. So I would say, like, whether you like it or not, find a way to like it. Alright. Anyone else? Yes.
So now we know that you have experience in work. I would like to know, do you have anything that you would like to add to your as
So the question was, I have experience in coding. Is there anything that I want to get into the entrepreneurial side? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, given that like I have a tech background and I have a platform now, I think there's like some interesting spaces I like to get into. That's why I've actually temporarily moved to San Francisco to help out with Kickstarter, but I'm also getting a lot of exposure to a lot of different businesses, different products, some people who are B2B, B2C, and honestly, like, first of all, you know, like when Farzi was saying he was like Googling all those terms, YouTubing all those terms, that's literally me right now. Like, I'm learning everything about like what pre-seed, seed, all these like Series A, Series B investors are. There's so much for me to learn. There's so much for me to learn about like just product development and the product life cycle. I just have so much to learn right now. Like, I have like maybe like a gross idea of something that I want to build, but I haven't got to the stage of execution yet because I'm just very like uncertain on where I want to go. Maybe that's my next step to focus on. Yes.
So there's a question for both of you. But using, you're talking about like social media as a catalyst to grow your brand and your presence. But I'm just curious from like a head starter perspective, and then you two as individuals, like what's the vision? What's the vision overall? Keeping in mind social media as your growth vehicle.
Yeah. So I can answer for me. My vision going day in, day out is if I can help someone, even if it's one person, teach them one thing or help them in one way, it's worth making a video on. Even if that video gets only 10 views and I help one person with like a resume tip and then that lands them an interview and that lands them the job, you change their life basically. And so that's day in, day out, just trying to have an impact in any which way I can.
Yeah, I think it's funny you ask that because I feel like a lot of people here probably find out about us through social media. And so there's a kind of core belief that the team I have at Kickstarter is that distribution eats product for breakfast. Now what that means is you're kind of the best product in the world, but if you can get people to use it, it's really mad, right? Because like no one will care, right? And so, social media is, the people that we, basically our target audience, these are like, you would say 18 to 24-year-olds that are pursuing a career in software engineering or just tech in general. They're pretty much all on social media, they're all just going to TikTok and Instagram. And so we think a lot like how do we capture their attention, when they're kind of just doom scrolling through all these apps. And so we already have a number of influencers that we work with to kind of help promote the brand. And I think from here it is just on, providing
providing these opportunities to students and trying to keep it as helpful and informative to them as possible.
All right, now I will be asking questions to Faizan. If you guys have any like overall questions, we can address that afterwards. All right, so Faizan, Head Starter. Tell us the backstory and how it got started.
Yeah, so the first week was halal, so it kind of begins with hidden, to be honest. And so I had always wanted to have my own company. I didn't think it would come this early. I'm only 23, and turning 24 in like 2 months. But it was always my dream to have my own company because I was very influenced by my dad, because my dad has his own company, and he always told me the only way you kind of can achieve financial freedom is through having a business. And so I always had like an entrepreneurial mindset. When I was 18, or even before I turned 18, I was already trying to invest in stocks, even though like you typically can invest in stocks before 18. And so the moment I turned 18, I was like, okay, I don't have much money, but I can like pull money together from my friends and family and invest on their behalf. And so that, I guess that was my first dabble into entrepreneurship, where I basically started a hedge fund where I pulled money together, invested on their behalf. I developed like an algorithmic trading kind of strategy on trading stocks using Python, a program that I made. And so I kind of went from there to always working on projects on my own. I always wanted to like keep my skills updated, working on like different things like machine learning. And then I found out about Head through Instagram. Actually, when they only had like 200, 300 followers, and some of my mutual friends were actually involved in Head. They were working there as interns. And these are friends that I really respect because I was on the high school team with them. And so I saw them working at Head. I was like, okay, they must be doing something great here because I know they're extremely smart. And then I saw that one of the previous co-founders of Head, he was a full-time software engineer at Amazon. And so at that time I was also interning at Amazon in Seattle. And I was like, okay, let me just message him on the Amazon internal email service. And I set up a meeting with him, I talked to him, and then he told me he put me in touch with his team, like the other co-founder and the starter, and then from there, his team saw like potential in me, he saw like I was super driven, and I've always loved teaching. If I wasn't doing Head Start, I'd probably pursue a PhD and become a professor, to be honest. And I saw that this team was working on, Head Start. The point is to like help upskill like students and software engineers, and so it really intrigued me. And then so I got involved in. I met with this team, he saw my tribe, and then he invited me to come visit the office. So our office is in NYC in Queens, and I go there and then I meet Bilal, and I told him, hey man, I have a background in ML. I just did an ML at Amazon, and no one else on the team knew AI or ML like that. And this was actually before ChatGPT came out. This was like way before like the huge boom. And I told him like, hey, well, like I actually go on like a fall internship. Like, do you think like I can help out with some stuff here at Head Start? So that's kind of how it started. They saw the potential in me. When I first joined in October 2022, I wasn't even doing any coding or any technical work at all. I was actually doing marketing. So I was actually helping out with the social media. The turning point was when the GPT API came out. This was I think March of 2023, if I'm not mistaken. That was a huge turning point because that was, the range of possibilities just expanded to like basically infinite, right? Because you can start doing things now with like generative AI and like LLM specifically that were never possible before. And so I always had that idea to like apply AI to help like students learn. And then it was also at that time where basically the previous co-founders so Bilal, he unfortunately had to like shut down. I was same thing with the other co-founder, and it was only a team that was full time. So it's very hard to build a business if there's only like one full-time person. And so obviously he wanted another co-founder to join him, right? So this was around June of last year. I had a return offer from Amazon, and then the team asked, oh, do you want to become a co-founder? And that's right.
So actually, let's go into that. So a lot of people here, I think we've got a mix of like some people want to go into the startup route, some people want to go into the big tech route. Obviously, big tech or just any tech job is very safe. You make a lot of money, stable, or actually relatively stable. These last years have been a little iffy. Relatively stable. So, but you decided to pivot to the startup route. What was that decision making?
Yeah, I would say, okay, I had the return offer for Amazon, but it was for Seattle. Now, I interned in Seattle for summer, great city. I don't see myself living here full time. So I guess that influenced my decision. I want to move. But at the same time, I did turn down a lot of money. I mean, this is more money that my family has ever like, seen. And so, by the way, I turned down that offer to make $0 a year.
But have equity.
Yeah, the equity is the motivating factor here. So, for the folks here who are maybe interested in startups versus big tech, if you work at a startup, you have to make a lot of sacrifices. It's not a 9 to 5, it is 24/7. Especially with this ultra, like, it's kind of like every waking hour I have to spend working, to be honest. But that's kind of like, there's beauty in that, right? Where, you know, I'm gonna look back like 10, 15 years from now and realize like, okay, my work has actually paid off, right? You know, hopefully millions of people around the world have been like, have benefited from this startup. And so, you know, I did go into how I always wanted to have my company, but I never really had the idea to pursue. And then, you know, the idea kind of fell into my hands with that starter. And I realized, okay, I can go to Amazon, and then my career is kind of like pretty linear. Like, you know, I would just join and maybe try to get promoted, maybe, you know, off to a different company. But I think, you know, I also interned at Bloomberg, and during both those internships, I was working pretty much all day, every day. I wasn't just doing like internship work, I was trying to, you know, find out other people at the company that, you know, were interesting, and I wanted to set up like coffee chats with them. But I spent pretty much the whole day working and then kind of keep myself busy. And I realized like, why don't I do this for like something that I have full ownership of, right? Because I didn't like the concept of like, you know, I'm doing all this work and then the company kind of like owns my work, and I'm pretty limited in terms of my capabilities and, you know, the work that I'm doing, you know, especially with Amazon or, you know, any big tech company, like bureaucracy, you have to go through all these different processes to get, you know, things done. But me, and I think anyone who wants to have a startup, if you want to take full ownership of what you're building, and if you want to make decisions and implement them the same day, then the startup is probably for you. But just realize that in the beginning, especially if you're doing like super early stage, it's going to be extremely tough. You're going to be working all day, every day. But you have to just have the belief and vision that one day is going to become something big. So, you know, I joined SRE, you know, you see, I didn't pay ourselves for a year. We still pay ourselves kind of pennies, if I'm being honest. And so we could have had a lucrative career at big tech, like, you know, you see, we joined National Actor at Amazon. But we chose to do this because we believe in the vision and we think long term, right? Because to be honest, if I chose to work in big tech, I would have never met you. I would have met my party. We wouldn't have built the network that
We wouldn't be here.
Exactly, right? And so the biggest and the greatest companies have been made and have been formed through great sacrifices that founders made, or the founders have made. And I think, you know, we're on the cusp of something, especially your restaurant, and it kind of just keeps you motivated to keep on going.
All right, cool. Any questions for President? Yes.
Hi, you mentioned you're doing stuff with using AI to help people learn. Can you talk more about it? Because this is something that I'm really interested in. And that's exactly what I was going to start making videos. Like when I said that I'm going to start making videos, that's my what I think about how we can use AI and technology to help in education. But what are you trying to do?
So the question was, how are you using AI to help people learn?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have kind of many different AI features, but the main one I'll share is the AI mock interviews on our platform. So the idea is that in a software engineering interview, you're basically, you know, you're presented with a coding problem. You have to explain, you know, explain the problem in all words. You have to explain the plan to solve the problem, and then you have to like code it out, and you have to like talk about coding. And what we realized is that this is extremely difficult to talk while you code, and this is like the biggest barrier that we saw students face in the kind of process of a kind of job. Like first you have to have a good resume, then you have to get the interview, then you have to do good in the interview, then you get the offer, right? So it was this specific part of the process
in the actual technical interview that we saw students really struggle with, right? So you have these different websites like LeetCode or LeetCode that focus only on the coding aspect, right? But if you just practice coding without communicating out loud, you probably, the chances of actually doing good in the interview and passing it are quite low if you don't know how to actually explain the code while you're like typing, right? And so what we realized is, okay, with like the advancements in like Gen AI and LLMs as well as text to speech and speech to text, which means transcription and audio generation, that it's possible to basically emulate a software engineering interview experience with an AI. So what that looks like, and I mean anyone's able to try it out today, is you're shown the coding problem, and then you have the AI talking to you. It's saying, hey, take a minute to read through this problem and explain it to me in your own words, whenever you're ready. So then you talk to it, you respond back in its voice, and actually, if Aiden is here, is Aiden here? Okay, so Aiden is like our influencer partner. We cloned his voice and kind of like his personality. We put it into the AI and it responds, in his voice. And so, you talk to it, it responds back in its voice. There's no like text, there's no like chat option. It's all completely voice driven. And so it gives you feedback on both what you said and what you coded, right? And so, something like this wouldn't have been possible just 2 years from now, right? And even 1 year from now might be stretching it, but the idea is that all the different APIs and expressions that we use only became usable in like the last like 1 year, right? So that's the main feature. I mean, I can get into like some other stuff as well.
Can I just add a little comment that like this could be the future of certifications online, where anyone can talk to an AI and like about something that they're learning, and that could be a certification process. That like if you do like written stuff, you can cheat and stuff. If you're talking about something, it's easy. It's harder to cheat, and that could be a way that AI could certify that someone knows this topic by virtue of them explaining that topic to an AI. That could be scalable, and that could be an amazing way to. There's something that I worked with in a different company that they do something like this, but humans verified, but now we can do it with AI.
Alright, cool. Well, I just want to once again round of applause for Faisal, please. Alright, so if you have any other like questions for Faisal or me, we'll like walk around a little bit. But we'd love to have you all like take pictures like with this banner here and like post it to your socials. Like they can come up to the stage. Yeah, come up to the stage. Feel free to take pictures. If you want to take one with me. Like solo pictures or a group picture as well.
बस रेडियो ना आपने अकाउंट नहीं करना अगर आपने वीडियो ना आपने नहीं करना खाने का ये बड़ा फायदा है खुद अभी बैठे रहो कुछ नहीं हमारा है लेकिन ढूंढना पड़ता है कि वापस में डाल में नहीं तो इससे बात करनी थोड़ी फिर निकलते हैं
Is that like streaming something? Oh. I don't know why.
Sorry guys, sorry for interrupting. Someone is sick. One more.
You got your resume? Well, so we're like, no, I'm good, I'm so Is he up there? I think it might not be fine.
I got mine on my iPhone. Oh, they even have a section. You just copy and this is what you should add to your
Nice meeting you. Do you have an extra unit too? Oh, yeah, I got you. I got you. I need to take a picture of your face. That's real life, right? I just took a picture. Yeah, that's Nice to meet you. Liam? Yes, nice to meet you. Where are you from? New York, Long Island. Okay, well, do you go to school? I just recently started. Oh, yeah, nice. I just recently graduated. Really? Mike's not something that's going to study like a month. He's how was it? I like it. I just know him. He's doing CS. He's doing like so I'm pretty sure I will keep him on like This is great. Can I have like a I like the wide. Yeah, I'll do But it also works the other way around. You learn CS, and actually get there. So I feel like it also a lot of figuring it out. I really wanted to go. Like I was in Slovenia. I feel like I don't know if but it is an area that I'm interested in. That was like in the start of like first off, a little bit of like managing assets, so like that's where I actually like started getting a bit of now it's like it just says like I'm learning a lot. More so like this is not really soft skills. It's more so like a connection. It's like, especially just in business in general. I feel like in life in general, I feel like it's less about what you know. And everybody says that, like, I didn't realize like, I didn't realize until this summer. Because the only reason I have my internship was like, that's exactly, no, that's not, like, I'm not good at it. The level of knowledge I have is like less than like probably like high school or like middle school. There's so many so I work at Citadel. I have to start it has like umbrellas, it's like across. I went to so
before I didn't know how to write. And literally the only thing was that I knew the study because I knew how to solve it. And so outside of this area,
Is this Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to be in the shot. Sorry.
Yo, I thought this, even this morning, I was like, it wasn't I had like,
really nice people. Like, I was far out. Like, I'm trying to pack up. I have no idea about the island. It's crazy.
if you were to divide the island into the orders and so you might know better. In between the first and second.
Okay.
From like 1 to the 60.
So it's like 40 minutes, right? 45?
Yeah, like my train ride here was like 40 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'm here for another.
Oh, you did.
I'm here for another 3 weeks. So, and then I'm going back to school now. But like in the meantime, I'll definitely be like
Yeah, I mean, you go to read like
Yeah.
college in Duquesne, like
CMU.
so CMU, okay, yeah.
Oh, apparently Duquesne might be getting what's his name?
Wait, CMU like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was my reaction. Yo, I'm not interested. I don't know
I mean,
how
it's a crisis to get in.
I don't know how I got into this school, to be honest. No, it was really just 90% long.
Yeah, I'd love to just